Ashley Marie here today. This tutorial is going to be how to lose weight fast, and please excuse my hair, it is crazy, but that's why I don't do hair tutorials, okay? I talk about health from the inside out in your body. So anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so tip number one is you want to drink at least 12 ounces of water before you eat or before you snack, because your stomach is about the size of a fist. So think about it. If you're going to eat something and you fill up with water, then how can you fit all however much food you're about to eat? So it's a really good trick and tip. Tip number two, never ever deprive yourself. Please don't starve yourself, because here's the thing, if you deprive yourself, whatever you resist will persist. So if you don't eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and you purposely skip them and your stomach is growling and you're hungry, then later on you're gonna find yourself binging late at night and just be like all pissed off at yourself. So the thing is, when you're hungry, you gotta honor that. Your body is signaling to yourself like, hey, I need some nutrients. So whenever you're hungry, always eat, but before you do it, make sure that you drink a glass or 2 glasses of water before you eat, because a lot of the times you are, and I know you heard this before, you're actually thirsty more so than you're hungry. So if you try that out, see how that goes. Tip number 3 is to have quick, satisfying, nutritious foods ready and snacks ready for you, because if you have a cupboard full of Doritos and Cheetos, then you're gonna go for those. But if you have some let's say like you stock yourself up right with like apples and peanut butter, or you can have like sliced up peaches and strawberries and some non-dairy coconut milk whipped cream, which actually has like barely any sugar or anything in it. It's just basically coconut oil. It's actually a nice alternative to have things that they're filling your cells and filling your body and gonna make you feel satisfied and actually really help you glow from the inside out. So my thing about having satisfying, nutritious foods ready to go is it's really important, because when you're out and about and you're working and you're doing things, the last thing you want to do, for me at least, is I'd rather be working and being productive than being in the kitchen cooking and chopping and cleaning. Like, that's just not my thing. So I go to Trader Joe's and I'll stock up on salads or snacks, like whether it's nuts or whatever it is. And I'm pretty sure I don't have to tell you guys what's healthy and what's not. You already know. And I mean, if you go on the internet, day by day, things are gonna change, because one day this thing is good for you and then the other day this thing is bad for you. So really at the end of the day, it's just listen to your own internal gut. Let's say that you're craving Snickers, right? So instead of eating the Snicker bar, why don't you upgrade it and get some almonds, maybe get some caramel sauce or melt some marshmallows, and also drizzle some dark chocolate on it, right? Or just buy chocolate covered almonds. So whenever you're craving something, just try to upgrade it. It's not like you're gonna deprive yourself in death forevermore and you're never gonna be able to have that junk food and you're like depressed and you're going crazy because you're freaking out and you feel like you're never ever gonna have it again. Just either eat it, but eat it without guilt and without shame, because that guilt and the shame that you have when you're eating it, that's what's keeping the weight on. Because regardless of whatever you eat, whether it's healthy or it's not, if you don't feel good about it and you feel guilty and worried and like just going crazy in your mind, that's what keeps the weight on. So here's the reason why you want nutritious snacks, because there's a lot of food out there, and I know you can drive yourself crazy with organic and non-organic and counting carbs and sugar. I used to drive myself insane with calorie counting, right? Calories in, calories out, macros, micros, and just like sodium content, and I would go freaking nuts and I would be more stressed out, right? And stress produces cortisol, right? Which is our belly fat. So I was stressing myself out way more than I needed to. This is really important. Make sure the snacks that you have don't have that crazy maltodextrin in the ingredients list, because maltodextrin, what it does is it messes with your gut flora. And your gut is very important. I mean, if you think about it, it looks like your brain. So it's basically your first and internal and your main brain. Everything that passes through your gut, right? It's gonna go throughout the rest of your body. So be really careful what you put in your stomach. You could be doing yourself some harm rather than good, and going the opposite direction by purchasing maybe like diet pills or powders and potions, like quick fixes that you think are gonna help you, but they can jack up your metabolism and jack up your hormones. It's like, rather than complicating it, it's just basically it throws your body off whack, just like away from its natural stage, right? Because your body can operate perfectly on its own just fine without like all these uppers or these downers. But the thing is to keep in mind, if you are, let's say, on meds, or you are you know, drinking or you smoke weed or whatever it is, whatever, if you're doing things on a daily basis, that's probably another topic in another video, is don't be so hard on yourself. That's why I said you need to be flexible, is you need to balance it out. Let's say you smoke or you drink whatever adult beverages every day. Well, at least try to have a very nutritious breakfast or a lunch, you know, like a green juice. And there are pretty good tasting ones. I know for some of you it could be disgusting, but it's basic, it's your choice, you know, like what do you want more? So number 4 is to be flexible. And so instead of going nuts so crazy with like counting calories and macros and micros and all that, see the bigger picture. Just like overall, like, hey, am I eating a really heavily processed burger? So so it's just better just to eat something that is something that is like close to natural, close to whole food stuff. This is my next tip number 5, is let's say that you have an issue with eating at night. Maybe you work late or whatever it is, and you have a tendency to eat before you go to sleep. Well, the thing is, instead of, this is not everybody, but a majority of people, instead of going to bed and digesting your food, this is the time for your body to rest and a time for your body to rejuvenate. Instead, when you do eat like a heavy meal before you go to sleep, your body is working to break down that food and all those components rather than focusing on rejuvenating your skin or your muscle fibers. Maybe you worked out that day and you had a hard workout. So instead of waking up refreshed, maybe you find yourself waking up lethargic and still tired and needing coffee, just like this like ongoing thing. So the thing is, if you're gonna eat late at night, I would suggest eating something very light, right? And also drinking a glass of water before you eat that snack or that food or that meal. Okay, I would consider light myself, or in the transition of it is like, okay, yeah, popcorn and nuts are light, or a piece of fruit, whatever it is. And then in the middle is maybe like a quesadilla. So a quesadilla is not that heavy, but at least it's not like a big bowl of spaghetti and pasta and meatballs or something. It's not like you have to stop right away, right? If this has been your habit for so many years, for 10, 20 years, and you're used to eating when you get home, and you're used to eating before you go to sleep because you find it comforting, well, just start slow, you know, start with 1 day a week and just lessen it. If you do baby steps and gradual, then you're creating those new neural circuit pathways where things are going to work for you. And if you're doing it gradually, then it's much easier to accomplish and to take on. Here's another thing to keep in mind too. Oh my god, my hair. I'm so sorry guys. My hair is always going to be a mess in every single video because I'm just like I'm not excited about doing like perfect hair. But anyways, this is really important. So for you people that have a sweet tooth, this is going to be really deep, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm just going to speak the truth here. So typically when you crave something sweet, like yes, you can appreciate it. Maybe there are times, right, we all crave something sweet, but if this is a problem for you, if you're willing to dig deeper, I want you to ask yourself at the time when you're craving something sweet, ask yourself this: am I craving a sweet experience? Am I wanting affection or love or a hug or a kiss from somebody right now? Most likely that is the case. When you want something sweet like a dessert or sugar or ice cream or cookies, it's because you're wanting a sweet, like loving experience. So it's really good to be honest with yourself. And also when you're craving salt, salt is also an indication of wanting to put up barriers. So maybe you find yourself in a situation where you want to put up barriers, and maybe you want to distance yourself from someone or a situation. Like maybe it's your own job that you just can't stand, or it's somebody that you're dating that you're not that fond of, because spiritually you're wanting to put up barriers between you and that other person. And think about it, when you consume an excessive amount of salt, you know how you get that salt weight, it's a little thicker, a little puffier. So you basically are creating a barrier mentally and then physically. So another thing to consider is spicy food. So I love spicy food, but sometimes it could be an indication that you're looking for some adventure in your life. So it's these are just some things to think about. Oh, and crunchy food. When you're craving something crunchy, it's because you're stressed out, you know, like the jaw hair, you're just like, oh, like chew on something. You know, go for a run or a jog, or do something where instead of eating, I think it's really important when you run into these sweet, salty, savory cravings is just become aware of it. It's not like you have to change it right away, but just being aware of it already is half the battle. So tip number 7, is to take your time eating. Even set a timer on your phone for like 15 minutes, because ever since we were young, right, ever since we were in grade school, we had 15 or 30 minutes to eat our food and our snack, and we were rushed. And then that carries on into adulthood when you've got your job or your career, and everything is just rush to where the body can't really relax and actually, you know, hone in on your food. So I myself, I'll play some soft music and I'll just chill out. I won't even watch TV. Watching TV is really not a good idea at all, because if you think about it, let's say you're watching something on TV and there's violence or there's something crazy chaotic happening. Well, at the same time, if you eating while your body is supposed to be processing that food, your body is also responding to what it's visually seeing. It causes stress within the body, so that cortisol is being produced, and so you're trying to eat and trying to be in a relaxed state, but yet you're stressing yourself out. So it's basically, it's counterproductive. You want to think about it too, when you're putting the food in your body, just pay more attention to the food that you're putting into your body, like the color or the texture of it, without taking it for granted. So really, you guys already know that there are tons and millions of diets out there. Probably at least try 20. But if you're just always trying something new, the new pill, the new diet, the new fad, really, I mean, like if that gets you excited, you're just like, yes, I want to do this. Go ahead and do it. But then if you do them and you always find yourself more depressed, or you gain more weight than what you started off with, then you got to really realize that this is a lifestyle. This is a day-to-day thing. And so for so long you've been maybe going about things in a certain way and you feel a certain way about your body. You've got to create new neural pathways, and which basically is developing new habits and new ways of looking at things. So instead of being used to eating late at night before you go to sleep, you're gonna get used to eating lighter. It may take some time unless you're completely super motivated, like I usually am. I'm super passionate and I'll just like dive head into something. Once you get the feeling of feeling really good or feeling refreshed and like looking around and seeing that you have more energy, pay attention to how you feel, because that's what's most important. And I think honestly, a lot of the times we're running away from emotions. That's why food offers that biochemical response. When you're eating, it releases the serotonin or the dopamine. It's offering a feeling and a chemical for you. So if you are depressed, or you know, you're going through something, is be honest with yourself and try to seek out a support system, you know, and even if that's with yourself. So I myself, I do a lot of support system with myself. I have family, I have friends, but I guess, I don't know, I prefer not to necessarily reach out. So what I do honestly is I journal a lot, or I'll text myself. I'll be really honest with myself, like, hey, maybe your heart is really sad right now and you feel like you want to eat ice cream, but you know that's just going to be like a short-term fix. And then I'm supportive. At the end, it's like I release exactly how I'm feeling and I face it and I really feel it. I don't try to deny or run away from anything. Once I get it out there, it's like it transitions into something like, hey, you know, it's okay, Joe, like you're going to be fine, and do what you gotta do. You gotta be your own cheerleader and best friend, and the worst thing that you could do is beat up on yourself. And I believe in you. I know that you can do this. It's just a matter of releasing that guilt, releasing that shame and that worry, and making this a process of transitioning to where it's easy and where it's doable and it's not being hard on yourself. That's everything on how to lose weight. I really appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next video.